It's made by players for players. Everybody wants the cheaper carbon fiber. I want quality. Well, it's more expensive. Yep, I want that Kevlar paddle. We need to raise our prices. We need to be up here. Joola's here, Selkirk's here. All these top-ranked pros, and they spend all this money advertising. That's not my game right now. I wanted to put all my dollars into building a product, building a company, and giving back. I had to go against feedback from people on our board, but put scripture on our paddles. If I can help spread the word in a way that's not overpowering, that means a lot to me. I want my company to be the Chick-fil-A In-N-Out Burger of pickleball. Hey guys, Dave Milo with Komodo Pickleball, CEO and founder of a great pickleball company.
Where does it all begin for you?
Wow, that's a long time ago. Well, I grew up in the San Ynez Valley in California, and went to high school there, and I did rodeo and tennis. Growing up on the valley, it was a nice valley. We had Rod Laver was my tennis coach my 7th and 8th grade year. Jimmy Connors lived in the valley too, so we had some really influential people growing up. And was in a car accident in 1989. Kind of put a damper and a stop on sports and things, and kind of really changed my life. I dropped out of high school and just started working my whole life. Really immersed myself in family, work. Grew up very country western, as you said. My parents were working cowboys. We lived on a guest ranch, and they took people out on horse rides. So we took care of hundreds of horses at a time, and just grew up with the value of what hard work is all about. And so just throughout my life, I just has always been a person that loved to work, and I love to immerse myself in my job. And I changed jobs a lot because I always worked my way up to the top, and it got boring because I couldn't own the company, or I wasn't part of the family of the company. So, I would switch jobs every 4 or 5 years until I finally started my first company, and that was in about 1998. And then I got into the oil and gas industry shortly after that, and I still have my oil and gas company, but that was 18 years ago.
You've been running for 18 years.
Yeah, been running it for 18 years. I had several partners at first, and ended up buying them all out about 3/4 of the way through the journey, and ended up doing it myself. As the years have gone by, and with a lot of the different '09 when we had the recession, I lost everything, and all my houses and my toys, and the only thing I kept was the business. On going from making 6 figures a year to unemployment really taught me a lesson in life, and how to really learn how to not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
And so we got through that one, and the business kept going again, and I built everything back up again and started to make a really good living. And let's put eggs in other baskets and other things. And so I did, and I have a powder coating and sandblasting business in Colorado, and I've helped some other businesses with investments, and I've done very well for that. So just about 2.5 years ago, a good buddy, I play tennis a lot. A good buddy of mine came to me and said, "Hey, Dave, do you want to look at starting a tennis company?" And I said, "A tennis company?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I make fishing lures, and I have all these ties overseas, and we can get tennis rackets made. We can get strings made." Sure, I'm playing tennis now. How cool would it be to have your own tennis racket? Or we actually came up with the logo first. And my buddy was really good in the marketing world, and he really did a lot of stuff with that direction. After the logo and the dragon, we thought about names, and we threw all these different things out, and I'm just like, why don't we talk Komodo Dragon? And then it was just like, well, that makes sense. The purpose behind it. Okay, the Komodo Dragon, let's talk about it. Well, it's very nice. It's very sleek. It's very stealthy, but then it's very fierce, aggressive. It's very just raw. And so I was like, wow, this fits what's going on in the industry. So we did that, and we ran with it, started making some rackets and some strings and everything. And about, I would say 6 months in, a lot of my friends started talking about pickleball. And I was just like, I can't do it. I'm a tennis player. I'm only 50 years old. I'm not an old man. It's loud. I said, I can't even play at the park next to the things because it drives me insane. And so I kind of opted out for a little while. but being an entrepreneur, having several businesses, business is my jam, and that's what I really like to do. And so I really looked into the dynamics of where pickleball was going, and unfortunately tennis was just kind of doing this. And I realized that I can't compete with Head or Babolat or Yonex or all these super majors. And I looked at pickleball, and pickleball is just going straight up. And I was like, wow. I said, okay. So then I went and I finally gave in and I tried the game. And I was like, oh my God. When I played tennis, I was a net guy. I was a poacher. I loved to bang. I loved that. And it was just really fun. So I gave in to the game and I just dove into the analytics of the game. And so I called my manufacturers up and I said, hey, do you guys make pickleball paddles? And they said, well, actually we do. And so I said, well, I think I need you to send me a couple demos. We may look at getting into the game. Done. After that, it was game over.
What year is this?
This was a year and a half ago, 2020, late 21, early 22.
Oh, wow. Very recent.
Very recent. We ended up getting some paddles and putting our logos, which is the Evolve 7 and the Evolve 8. And those were our original paddles we came up with. I've always been the kind of person that likes to tell the story. I think everybody has a journey and they have a story behind their life. And so my pickleball journey and what I had envisioned for Komodo Pickleball was a journey. And I kind of wanted to explain that journey. So when we thought about the names of the paddles, I was just like, when you come to play pickleball, you're evolving into the game of pickleball. And so you're growing into it. So that's why I kind of named our first ones Evolve.
Evolving.
You're evolving. It's your first paddle into the game. And so then the paddles were okay. They're a beginner paddle to intermediate. So we looked at going in deeper into the game. I've always been the kind of person that I want quality. I'm a player. Our slogan, it's made by players for players. It's something that I want to do.
Resonate with.
Right. It's my passion. And so I wanted to have a quality paddle. I wanted something that no one had. And all my manufacturers, and I was looking at different manufacturers, that everybody kept saying Kevlar. Well, what's so different about Kevlar? And they said, well, it's more expensive. And so I had a couple different manufacturers send me Kevlar paddles. And I played with it, and I was just like, wow, this is great. And I said, why isn't everybody doing that? Everybody wants to lower the cheaper models. They want the carbon fibers. Okay, I want that Kevlar paddle. And they're like, you do? I said, yep, I want that Kevlar paddle. So we went out and we had some made and we sent them in to get tested and certified, and they passed. And I said, okay, let's do this. And so that's our Katana paddle. It was the top of the line paddle. I wanted the next step, and I went straight to the top first. I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit, but in the midst of putting all that together, we came out with our Fury line. And so that was the next stage in my understanding of the game. You evolve into pickleball, and once you evolve into the game and you get the Fury for the game, you move up in the level. That was my second paddles, are the Fury. So I should have did the Katana after I launched the Fury, but I couldn't wait. And
Too excited.
yeah, it's really fun. And the Katana paddle that's our mainstream paddle right now. That's our top selling paddle for intermediate to advanced players. The pro players say it doesn't have enough power, has great touch, great spin, great feel, but the pro players, they just want pure power. They don't need the spin or the dinking ability. They already got all that. They want power. What we formulated now, which you saw at the show this weekend, are the Venom and the Tonto. We just released this weekend, and there's the pro power player paddles.
Having something for the market for everybody, from the pros to, like you said, evolve for the beginners.
Releasing the Katana first sounds like Elon Musk. He put everything he had into the roaster, went back from there.
Right. And it's just being a player. I want to offer that same ability. Now that we're getting bigger in the business world as we are, I have marketing teams, I have wholesale teams, and everybody's like, we need to raise our prices. We need to be up here. Joola's here, Selkirk's here. All these pro paddles are here. And I said, I don't want to be. I want to be affordable. I said, I'm not trying to make a dollar bill. I'm trying to offer something that us players and us people can enjoy all together. And so we're keeping all of our prices in the moderate range because I want to offer people a good quality product that's somewhat affordable. Yes, they're expensive, over $200, but this Kevlar paddle lasts, and it does. Our first prototype paddle had over 5,000 hits on it and didn't go soft until about 9 months after hundreds and hundreds of people playing with this paddle. So it's a very high quality paddle. So it's really, really something that's near and dear to my heart, is having quality over quantity or dollar bill.
Yes, absolutely. I could see like from your life experience, it leads you to this point. Now you're able to do this business where you can provide something for the players.
In my vision, I did it backwards. I've had a lot of people tell me I didn't, and it's a great way to go. But a lot of these new companies, they go out and they get all these top ranked pros, and they spend all this money advertising, and they spend all this money going to PPA events, MLP events, and they spend all this money doing that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to put all my dollars into building a product, building a company, and giving back and letting the masses play with it. I think that having advocates and affiliates out there playing with it and showing kids on the court, giving stuff away. I give too much away. My teams get mad at me all the time. They don't want me to go to events. I'm ended out handing out paddles, bags. They're just like, no, hey, no, stop. I go, that's okay. It's okay. You know, Komodo is a family, and that's how I want this company. And I don't care if it's from me at the very top to all the way to the warehouse guys loading packages. We're all equal in my company. You know, when I go do things, they said, okay, what's your occupation and what do you do? Are you a CEO? Are you founder? I said, no, I'm custodial engineer. And they go, custodial engineer? And I go, yeah, I do janitor work. I clean up after people, and that's my occupation. I just want to have a company that everybody feels loved, equal, and a part of. And if a guy has a problem, I want to know, how do we make that better for this one guy? Because just because this one guy is having a problem doesn't mean it couldn't be someone down the road. Having a lot of our players that are coming over, we tried your paddles, we love them. How do we become sponsored? How do we be a part of your team? And I said, well, who are you with now? And they XYZ or ABC. And I'm like, well, why are you leaving them? They're huge. Because they're huge, and they don't show us the respect like they did 5 years ago. They don't answer their phone. They don't come out and say, hey, how you doing? Or I answer my phone all the time. I make sure and make a point of it. I mean, coming from the oil and gas industry for 17 years, we were 365 days, 24/7. If someone called me at 2 o'clock in the morning with a problem, I had to get up and take care of that, because in that industry, there's so many people that are trying to get your job.
Yes.
That if you didn't answer your phone and you didn't get back to them, they're going to call someone else. Just like that. I'm human, and I want to make sure that everybody gets taken care of like I want to get.
The way you put it is like, I can see your company culture is very important. And from the culture, you can build a great product.
Absolutely. Komodo's a family. That means something to someone when the owner and founder and CEO, they're thinking that, oh, I'll never hear from this guy. I mean, I'm very appreciative of every person that's involved. We're about giving. You know, we're starting a foundation right now called Little Dragons. Our mission is to be able to give back to kids in need and kids with autism and ALS. They got dealt a card that they didn't want in their hand, but they did. And so as a company, I want to be able to help and give back. So we're in the beginning stages of this, doing events, and we're going to promote this globally. Yeah, we're already in 7 different countries right now, and we have about 5 larger ones coming on here in the next month. And we want to be a worldwide brand. It's near and dear to my heart, my family's heart. I've got some wonderful kids, and they definitely want to be a part of this, and my wife. And we have a small farm. We raise our own beef. We homeschool our kids. We're a small homeschool network, and we're global. You know, really doesn't really go into seeing context together. I have a wide range of kids. I have a son, 29. I have another son, 22. We have a long gap, and then I have my daughter who's 10. I just adopted my grandson, who is 7 years old. And so my 7-year-old, my 10-year-old live with us. My 10-year-old, Ari, she's an athlete beyond belief. On a court, or soccer is her jam. And my grandson, he's a little bit too left-footed. Catch on later. The family core values in my life personally, it pours into my business. For my longest time with my oil and gas company, all my employees are like family. I've taken a lot of them under my wing. Several of them I called my kids because they're all in their 20s. They're working for me and they're making me money, but I don't care about that. I care about them.
Getting life experience.
And giving them the needs that they need to have in their life. Because a lot of them didn't have parents that were in their life or whatnot. So I always felt like the dad of the group. And I still, even in pickleball, I'm like team dad. You didn't sign up for this. But I always seem to help everybody out. And okay, that's just who I am. I don't think I can change that kind of nature.
You're doing almost God's work.
Open the door there. That is a big part of my company. We're a very faith-based company. I don't preach it. I try not to open the door, but when someone opens the door, I'll definitely put it right in there, because when it comes to the Lord, that's who drives me and drives the forces behind what I'm doing and the missions that I'm doing. And it's something that's super powerful, and it needs to be more in our lives than it is now. And with everything going on in the world and our country,
Absolutely.
everybody needs to get more God into them and more Jesus, because if I can help spread the word in a way that's not overpowering, that means a lot to me. And I want my company to be the Chick-fil-A In-N-Out Burger of pickleball. I decided and had to go against feedback from some of our people on our board and whatnot, but put scripture on our new paddles, our pro level paddles. And the model numbers are scripture. There was a scripture that means something to me. And so I don't care. I think, like I said, everybody needs a little bit of Jesus and the Lord in their life. And even if they're non-believers, they could still go out and have this paddle in their hand and have the Lord working through them. And it maybe change someone's mind and maybe help someone in their life. It may do something good for them when they're at a time of need. I don't know. I can help out that way.
It's the little messages.
You're putting the value out there. There's something to be said in religion. It's survived thousands of years, helped countless people, but over time it got skewed. Charlatans
Absolutely.
use the name of God for their own gain.
And there's still all of that going through that every day.
Absolutely.
And I think more now than anything, it's really hard, because then it puts you in a certain class level. This weekend, I met a young gentleman who's starting the National College Pickleball Association. Noah, did you see it?
Yep.
Wow, what a great young man. I think when you get into a mindset where you are like I am right now, and you're at a level of just living life, you attract things to you, attract people to you. And I am the firm believer that everything happens for a purpose. The old saying is everything happens for a reason. No, it doesn't. It happens for a purpose. And the purposes may not happen right then and there, but every person that I meet, I thank the Lord for it, because I may not do something with that person right now, but I really believe that somewhere down the line, I may cross your path again. And there was a purpose for that one meeting. So I take that one meeting very serious. And I may never speak to him again, but there may be another time I do. So the challenges of that part of the equation are really complex. But if you open your mind and you open just everything in your body that float through the day, things will happen. And so I met this young gentleman this weekend, and man, it was so powerful. I was kind of seriously disappointed about the show, but there's a few tidbits that I got. Noah was one of them. The young man, when he talked about how he wants to bring Jesus to people that may need it, and he wants to do it through a certain level, and he's not afraid to stand out and do it. Before the event, there was a lot of people there, and he asked everybody to stand. And they thought they were going to do the national anthem, and he started and said a prayer. And he did not care. I really find that bold. He said a lot of people afterwards came up to him and said, wow, that was really awesome. Well, we really appreciate that. And there was a few that said, well, why did you do that? And well, that's what I wanted to do.
He was speaking his truth.
He was speaking his truth. I feel the same way. And I think that more people in the world need to speak the truth, speak from what they believe in. Because too many times you get shut down. And I don't believe that that's okay.
Yes.
And to segregate the whole thing. Now, I tweaked with him a little bit, a lot about Christians and things like that. And I said, no, you're kind of putting classification on yourself. He goes, well, I'm a Christian. And I go, I personally think that that's amazing. Some people don't. Why don't you say, I'm faith-based? Well, that's calm.
Doesn't put in a box.
You're not put in a box. You're not put in a classification. You're not that little asterisk on a word. But he went, wow, didn't even think about that, Dave. And I said, yeah, think about these things when you're approaching people, and especially young people. You don't want to just come out and go, I'm very Christian. This is my company. We're Christian-based. We're this. No.
Come on, too strong.
You are putting a bold thing out there right at the, you're on the defensive. Oh, we're a faith-based company and faith-based myself, and we'd love you to join that. It sounds so much better than, yeah, we're a Christian company, Christian beliefs, and we would like you to join us. Were you there the first day of the show?
Yes, I was there.
Playing worship music through the whole day.
Oh, yeah.
All the music in the background was worship music. And there was a level of
Calmness
in that building. It was busy, but everything was calm. They had Guns N' Roses and different, don't get me wrong, I love Guns N' Roses. The vibe was such a different day, day 2 and day 3. This is a different vibe.
Yes.
I just really believe that with the times that we're in right now and what we're doing, we really can help humanity out by giving more, by talking more, by telling our story. Like what I'm doing right here, I love to tell my story because I think there's most people out there going through the same thing.
Yes.
They don't know how to say it. And I'm truly blessed about it. In the last few weeks, we've been talking about, okay, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to build our own pod? How do we articulate? And then you showed up for a purpose. And when you live your life that way, things start happening like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn by any means, but I'll get real with you here. About 6 months ago, I want to say December, I get choked up about it, but I wanted to give up. I was going to file for bankruptcy with Komodo. I had it. I had everything invested into Komodo. I couldn't take the pressure any longer. I had spent every dime of my savings, my 401ks, everything that I had invested into Komodo. My oil and gas business, because of COVID, was going down. My other businesses were going down. And I was at the end where my bank accounts were getting low. And I have a family, and I have kids, and I have a farm, and I have animals, and I have all these people working for me, and I have all this, and I lost it. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting in my gym, I got on my hands and knees, and I gave it to the Lord. I said, I'm done. I can't do it no more. I honestly said I was done. And I told the Lord, I said, it's yours. You take over this business. I'm putting it in your hands. I'm going to give a couple weeks. If nothing changes, I'm shutting it down. I'm filing bankruptcy, and I can start over. I've done it before. I can do it again, and I'm done. And I tell you what, within a week, I had met Andre Agassi, had things immediately turn around, and it's all been uphill since. And I don't say that a lot. Just shows you that once you put it out there with any way, and you let the Lord take over, it's going to happen. Because the man made whatever we have, or girl, or spirit, or whatever you believe in. But I gave it all to him. And now he runs this company. And I just do as I feel I'm supposed to do. I don't schedule now. I have scheduled things I do, but I wake up in the morning and my wife's like, well, what are you doing today? I said, I don't know. I'm going to go to the office and see what's out there.
You're living in a state of flow now.
I am. I've got a calmness to myself, and I don't get worked up. And yeah, I get worked up every now and again, but
But you can at least return to baseline now. It's established.
It's a great place to be.
I also go through my ups and downs in life. And at the hardest point, There's only so much as humans you can take. At some point, you got to give it to the higher power.
Yeah. And then you realize some of the people that are living on the street, the life that they have, trying to get yourself humble to that sort of culture and whatnot. And we can give back to people that deserve it equally as we do, but they're not able to do that. And so we're going to come out with a paddle that we're going to be giving proceeds to the Little Dragons Foundation and other foundations to help out that need. And we're going to get a portion of our proceeds and a portion of our paddles to different countries that don't have pickleball and nets and balls and things like that. I think that that's just important. And if you look how Jesus walked, he didn't care. He would give someone his last meal because he knew that some down the road he'll have some more. Why can't we do the same thing? You give, you're going to be rewarded. Even just before I really found the Lord deep, I've always been the kind of person, well, if you need that more than me, then take it. Or if you guys that would steal from me, well, they must have needed it more than I do. Replace it. I'm not worried about it.
Yes. Less stress in your life.
Yeah, it is. When I have a karma jar, it's overflowing and flowing and flowing. And I just tell people to catch some of the stuff flowing out because it's just good. And I mean, I'm okay with that. That's how I have kind of based all my companies. That's how I kind of base my life. That's what I'm teaching my kids right now. It's amazing to be able to have 2 young children in our house that people are just like, wow, those are like some of the best kids I've ever, they're brought up right. If we could help more kids out like that, that'll help humanity out and pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward.
It's wonderful values to live by. You teach your kids and you share that with the people in your company, your community.
Yeah. Everybody that is in Komodo right now are all people that I would have never crossed paths with. How does a kid in Grand Junction, Colorado, I call myself kid, I'm 53. How does a guy in Grand Junction, Colorado get a meeting with Andre Agassi? My partner came from Silicon Valley and is in Florida, and he's a marketing and networking guru. How do I meet guys like that if it's not preordained for a purpose? And I mean, just like we talked, meeting you, I didn't do it. I wasn't out searching for all these people or sending letters and doing all these things. No, it just happened.
Absolutely. When the value is out there, you'll attract the pro players that has a similar value. They will come to you.
Yeah. It's like I was saying, I started backwards and I didn't go chase the pro players. The pro players, they're great players, but they're getting to the point where they feel entitled. And that's okay. I mean, we're all entitled to something, and it's how we all perceive it ourselves. But that's not my game right now. We have a couple great senior pro players. Truly blessed to have them part of the team. They're helping Komodo not just as a player, but as working on paddles and working on different technologies and the things that we're doing. That means more to me than just paying someone to be, a top 10 player. But I will be when it's supposed to be.
When the time is right, and it comes.
And Andre's an amazing man, and all the stuff that he has going on was just, he's immersed in the game after being not in the limelight for 20 years and raising his kids and coming back out and coming into the pickleball world. When I met with him, he didn't really think he was going to get too deep into the pickleball world, and little did he know then that, boy, he is Mr. Pickleball right now, and it's really awesome to see. And he's just a wonderful man, and I have a lot of respect for him, and he was one of the idols growing up. I'm very humbled by it, very blessed that our paths got to cross.
Yes, to have somebody you look up to, now you're working with.
Yeah, it was really hard that first time I met him and had lunch with him, not to just be shell-shocked. Can I have an autograph? And we had a real talk. What Andre's about and what Andre does with his foundations and what he's done with all his charter schools, and that's really awesome that he did that. And it meant a lot to me, and my core values of where I wanted to go with Komodo is to have a partner like that. And he helped develop our new paddle, the Venom paddle.
That's amazing.
He loved the Katana paddle, and so it was really cool to work with him and do some fun stuff like that. And now he's busy. Now he's involved with Duper and Lifetime Fitness, and he's all over the place.
Yes. He actually plays in the VIP too.
Alex Simon would be a wonderful person for you to meet.
Yes, he shares the same value as you.
He climbed to World Senior Pro #2.
Oh, wow.
Eventually started doing clinics. He loved teaching, just giving back. So now he's in Brazil teaching clinics. And every time he goes on a trip, you have to find me a slum or a school where he can go teach
Oh, wow.
kids how to play pickleball.
Yeah, we just launched in Brazil about 2.5 months ago. We're really heavily involved down there right now with Brazil and Peru, Colombia, which there's product down there.
And fun fact, he actually plays with Agassi all the time. They're like buddies.
Oh, yeah. I've never met a man that is so immersed into competitiveness. We went to the Summit Club a couple of times, and we were doing some testing with some paddles and things, and we had a couple of our pro players, Chris Miller and Adriana Tomazelli. Andre must have played for like 5 hours. He'd come off the court, and he'd be all hobbling and sore and everything, and then everybody's like, Andre, one more game. He's like, all right, march back out, start playing. They'd come off the court, and he'd be all hobbling. And one more game. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have what his system comes to playing a sport, but it's really cool.
That's what made him one of the greatest.
Absolutely. The tenacity and the drive. That's what it is. We all think we've been there, but he's really been there in the trenches deep and then fight your way back out of it. Dave, how do you think I felt when I was in Wimbledon and set number 4 at game 3 and I break a string? He goes, I had to go to my bag and I had to grab all my rackets were exactly where I need to be at that time of a game. And he goes, I could go in and I could feel it, grab it, and go back out there and leave off right where I was. And that's where we are with our technology. I just don't want to be a paddle company. I just don't want to be a bag company. I don't want to be a ball company. I want to be an innovator in the sport.
You want to be a pioneer in the industry, trailblazer.
Yeah. So I want to be able to offer things that mainstream's not doing, and then taking it to a level that things are not the norm.
Do you have other people helping you on the R&D side?
Absolutely. I'm the kind of person, I can't do everything, and everybody has their talent. I come from the tennis world, so I've been playing pickleball for a little over 2.5 years. So my level of expertise inside of pickleball is not the same as other guys that have been playing for 20 years, 15 years. Everybody has their lane, and I know when to stay in it. And yeah, I do have a whole team of people that we rely on.
Komodo only, less than 3 years old?
Yeah, since we started tennis to where we are now, 3 years. Pickleball has only been really 2 years. For the first year, it was more R&D. It was more trying to find our niche, find where we want to go, evolving into the game, evolving into the business, evolving into pickleball. We really think it's about a year into it since really things escalated to the level where we're at today.
Yes, that's amazing. And it seems like Komodo has stabilized and is ready for the next stage of growth.
Yeah, it is. We're ready for that next stage. We're in the beginning stages of designing a couple other paddles. Well, I just don't want to keep dumping paddles into the industry, but the industry is changing. The technology is changing. What the people are wanting is ever changing so much. Companies are pushing the boundaries a little too far on the limit, but I want to find where that limit is, and I want to just hover right there. Here's where we need to go. So our 2 new paddles, we come out with the Venom and the Tonto, they're right there at that level, and they're a pro player paddle. We have guys that are going to be doing pro tournaments, hopefully work their way up the ranks, but they're ready for that game. And then we put the tool into their hand that they need to have. We are doing some testing with some new paddles, new technologies. I'm not at liberty to say right yet. We're working on a new ball. Our ball is a really, really good ball now, but there's a couple weaknesses that we know that we need to tweak on. It's going to have a secret sauce in it. Really good stuff. High temperature. I want to cater to the hotter, here in Vegas,
Texas,
Florida. We do a lot of stuff, like I said, in South America. I do a lot of stuff in Baja, Mexico. The temperatures get really warm down there, so the balls like to warp. It's a pickleball. I don't care who it is, mine, Gearbox, Selkirk, Gamma, all of them, it's a plastic.
Yeah.
So in the heat, it wants to go away. But it's something that we can work on and we can try to make better and we can move forward in that technology. And I love that industry of it because coming from the oil and gas background, we're developed with a team, my own welding wires, my own brand. So I have that drive to always be innovative with things.
What do you think about the whole drama with the Gen 3 paddle?
And I was wondering when that was like, well, the game, the players, the people playing the game, they're wanting that. So the paddle companies, to be able to support the masses, are having to produce and take it to that level. It's going to happen in anything. And anything in life, someone's going to push the envelope to the farthest they can. The Gen 3 paddle just got pushed to the farthest limit and it went over. I don't want to talk bad about any of fellow paddle companies at all. I'm still the newbie in the game. I'm not up on the top yet to where I can start really saying what I truly feel. But and that's one of the reasons why I didn't speak this weekend. I was asked to speak at my perception and my things aren't the same as the big boys. I think that they're just trying to produce something that the masses want. They're trying to help the beginner players get better, which I agree. But on the same context is those paddles that are helping the beginners get better in the hands of guys that are good are dangerous to others. So that's why the USAP has a limit. It got put over the limit. And I'm blessed that we do have these governing bodies. And I think the governing bodies should step in a little farther. Not even with the Gen 3, but other paddles. There's a few other paddle manufacturers out there that's got some really hot paddles. And they need to take care of, because I don't want people to get hurt. Sport as it is. Everybody goes, oh, it's pickleball. Oh, it's a wiffle ball. It's plastic. No, these things can be deadly. They already have people lose an eye and things like that. And I think the governing body should step in a little deeper. I don't want it to become a money play. There's something like 2,700 paddles out there that are approved. Well, if you think how much money revenue that is, yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of revenue. And I think the governing body should step in a little bit farther, but those are my beliefs. The majority don't have that same belief. So I just figured, keep my mouth shut. I like to speak my mind and I like to say how I feel. And it's tough for the clubs. Clubs are now having to check paddles. I was talking to Pat, who owns the hub, and he's like, yeah, now we have to ban that paddle from our members who pay our bills, and it's because it's dangerous. I think that there was a paddle that had a bunch of holes in it. That thing was dangerous too. Produces so much power. I was really respectful to the USAP for standing by their decision. They gave him a second chance, failed again, and for whatever reason. Is it too hot? Is it this? We know what it's all about. End it. Let's move on and create another paddle and be on with it.
Komodo right now, you're not looking for pros, but for, I guess, the local players, if they want to work with Komodo, what will be the best way if they want to get sponsored?
Get on the website. We have an affiliate page on there now, and they can fill out, a little questionnaire and get looked at. First we weren't, but now we're getting very picky about who we're letting in as an advocate. I just don't want someone that just wants to get a deal on a paddle. We have found from our research of the hundreds of affiliates that we have, they only buy one time and then they don't spread the word. What we're looking for are people that want to teach, that want to help, they want to give, they want to promote, they want to sell paddles, because we offer a 10% cash back on sales. So if you're an advocate, Max, and you sell your camera guy here a paddle and he uses your code, he gets 15% off. You get 10% back in cash. I know a lot of the other companies give cash towards purchasing in their store, or you can buy their paddles or their gear or whatever. No, we're PayPal each month. You get 10% of your sales. You're helping spread the word. But like Jeff, the guy has spent so much money and he just gives stuff away. He came to me and he goes, I just bought 10 of your junior paddles and I gave them all to the kids in the neighborhood. I'm like, Jeff, tell me these things. Yes, next time I see you do that, I'm just going to donate 10 other paddles
Yeah.
because I want to help out too. He goes, okay, great. You got a deal.
Yes.
And those are the kind of things. So, but we're looking for kids that want to get out there and grow in the PPA, the MLP, the APP, that want to become pro players. We're here to help you guys out. You know, these paddles are expensive. To enter the events are expensive. We want to help you out. So we're really looking for the up-and-comers, the younger generation that's going to grow and come into the sport and challenge the Annalee Waters and the Ben Johns who are just dictating it right now. But good on them. I think it's a great thing. I've met Annalee, I've met her parents, and I think it's wonderful. She was a soccer player like my daughter, and she could have gone collegiate or even higher, but she chose to play pickleball and immerse herself, and she does. She's a wonderful young lady and a great player. And so we want to help out those kind of kids too. Come in or send to info@komodopickleball.com and tell us what you're doing and let us know that you want to grow and you want to become a pro player. People don't do nowadays. They don't really put themselves out there. Tell me what you're looking for. Say, hey, I want to be a pro player. How can you help me achieve that goal? I have a team that just handles all those kind of people. We'll figure out a way to give someone help. So that would be probably the best way to do it.
How big is your team right now?
My close-knit team, I only got about 5 guys and gals. But then, you know, we have warehouse guys. We have people with sales force. We've got 12 guys around the nation that are out doing sales for us and calling on mom and pop shops all the way up to where we're looking at doing retail concepts, and we're going to get into Shields and some of the bigger box stores. I'm kind of holding the reins back. Then once we get to that level, things are really going to crack wide open. We have a great team. At Dave Milo, he built my first Komodo tennis website back 3 years ago when we first started tennis. So Dave and I have been together for 3 years, and wow, he's truly a blessing. He's my best friend, even though he lives in Florida and I live in Colorado. We talk every day, 3, 5, 10 times a day. Jeff Berkeley, who you got to meet, who's now my head of wholesale, is awesome, man. He's been in the wholesale industry for 30 plus years. He was with Spider Global. He was a vice president of K2 wholesale. And so he's got the background to get us out there and how to get us out there and the right way to do it. Like I said, I'm staying in my lane. I'm not into wholesale, his jam. So he's doing that. And it's truly just a wonderful blessing to have him involved.
It takes a great leader to track all these people.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Going forward into the future, the general direction of the company, what are you thinking? Just going international?
Yeah, definitely going international. We're in 7 countries now with about 5 more coming on. We have Germany, Italy, France, and the UK we're in talks with right now. Asia's the next latest, greatest thing coming in the pickleball world. There's an international tournament, I believe in October in Peru, and it's going to be like the Olympics of pickleball. And so we're looking at sponsoring that. That means a lot to me. One of my younger players, Bruno, he's from Peru, and I've kind of taken him under my wing. And now he's like a son to me, and we're getting him trained up. He was Peru's Olympic badminton player for several years. I mean, you can realize the shotgun of a overhead he has. He's from Peru and has introduced me from some guys that are doing. They did one last year, which turned out really good, but they've got about, I think he said 16 to 17 countries now signed up for this year, and hopefully more. I want to get into that space with our name and with our dragon and with where we're going. I think the international market's going to be really good. And plus, I just want to help out third world countries that need help, and be able to help out those kind of needs. So in the future, yeah, we're going international. Komodo Pickleball is going to be a global brand. I don't think it has any other way to do that. Just keep on doing what we're doing. And then one thing Andre did say to me, he says, "Dave, you having fun?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Great. When you're not having any fun more, let me know, because that's when I want out." Having fun. Even when it's a challenge. Still fun. At the end of the day, we're doing stuff that we love to do. I mean, pickleball, This is what I love to do, and helping people. I love that more than playing pickleball. Here I thought, by owning my own pickleball company, I'm going to play pickleball every day. I'm gonna do tournaments, and I don't get to play pickleball at all. We got indoor courts at our warehouse, and I don't get to hardly play over at all. My daughter's over there training with one of the coaches, and I see on my cameras like, oh.
That's exactly what Mina's going through. She loves pickleball so much. Let me open up my own course, and she barely plays.
It's like, oh, I gotta get out there.
It seems like a running joke or a curse. When you get into the business of pickleball, you never get to play pickleball again.
People go, do you do tournaments? I said, no, I just sponsor them. Time I get to play is when I got a paddle in, and I went, well, let me try this out. Oh, sounds good, plays good. Yes, spin. Okay, I'm done.
That's it. What makes what we do even more of a blessing is because what we went through.
Yeah.
Once you know what life is down here, you appreciate even the smallest things.
When you're young, you work for things. Even when you're a kid and you're having to do chores around the house, you always got rewarded for that. So why not just keep doing that in life, working for that goal? I mean, yes, there's a lot of kids out there that get handed the spoon, and it's like, man, they don't even know what to do with that spoon. Why not help them learn how to use the spoon and to make something of it and share it? Because you don't need to always keep the spoon for yourself.
Once you learn it, you can pass it on.
Absolutely. That's what I'm doing with my kids. My daughter, I have to give her kudos because she is just such a wonderful young lady at 10 years old. It's the Lord really gifted me and my wife because we almost lost her at birth. I didn't even want to have another child, let alone have a little girl in this world today. And the Lord said, no, you're having a little girl and you're going to do it right now. And she's beautiful, very smart, athletic. And she came to me the other day and she goes, Dad, I want to start traveling with you. And I said, honey, I can't. I'm going to all these events and I'm going to business meetings and everything. She goes, well, what do I need to do to travel with you, Dad? And I said, well, let me think about it, honey. I said, well, you travel all the time for soccer right now. You're going to different states and cities and you're just an amazing player. I said, why don't you start playing pickleball? She goes, well, I already do play pickleball, Dad. What do I need to do more? I said, you need to start doing tournaments. I said, your idol, Annalie Water, she started when she was 10 years old. You're 10 years old too. And she says, okay, I'm going to do it. I said, okay, but you're going to have to give up soccer because you're going to need to train. And she's like, okay, no problem. Well, soccer ended 2 weeks ago. And at that soccer tournament, they won. And she started crying. And I said, honey, what's wrong? You guys just won. She goes, I don't want to leave my team. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I have to quit soccer now for pickleball. And I went, wow, okay. I said, well, what do you want to do? And I want to keep playing soccer. I said, okay, then you keep playing soccer. I want to play pickleball too. And I said, okay, then you need to figure the balance between the two. Now it's 4 days of soccer training, 3 days of pickleball training.
Wow.
And she's just 7 days a week going at it at 10 years old because that's what she wants to do. Like she wants to be with Dad and she wants to travel. I'd love to have her. Some of our local trips when we go over to Salt Lake, which is only a couple hours from our house. And I do a lot of stuff over in Orem, Utah at the Club Pickleball USA. That was a shout out for Club Pickleball USA. And it's really awesome to have her be able to travel with me and we have a great time. So it gives a little break for my wife to spend with my grandson one-on-one. And
since you're managing a huge business and trying to go international, how do you work out the work-life balance for yourself?
Like you said, behind a good leader is a team. So my goal is to build a team good enough to where I can go spend time with my family. I have an executive assistant now. I have to because I have just so many emails, so many phone calls, so many things going on that I need help keeping track of my own self. With having a good leader, I know that I need to have a good team and I shouldn't be able to hold their hand all the time, able to do their job and do what they love to do. And so that's what I'm putting together right now is building a team that I can go out and spend time. My goal when I was 19 years old was to retire at 50. And I was this close until COVID hit. I was about ready to sell my oil and gas business for a great amount of money. And I was there. I saw retirement in my future. I'll never be one that just sits back and can't do anything. That's not Dave Milo. I'm always going and going. I think if I slow down too much, I'd probably die. But that's my goal. I really enjoy spending time with my family. We're homebodies. We built a farm. We have a pool. We have a soccer field. We have all the stuff that we want to do together as a family, and everybody comes to our house, and we love that. We barbecue all the time. After church, everybody comes to our house for lunch and stuff like that. That's just what we love to do. And so if I go international, I have a team to run that and be where we want to go, and the family can come with us.
What better way to get your daughter to spend time with you? You sponsor her. She gets to spend time with dad.
Yeah.
It's like perfect.
Well, there's going to be a time where she's going to have to take over running this company if we still have it. So that's something that I want to teach her. That's why with our animals at home and our cows, those are all hers and my grandson's cows. We have 20 of them, and they go out and feed them. My daughter sent me a little video of my wife standing in our feed bunk with a shovel and her boots on, shoveling out the dirt that got in there from the cows as my daughter's sitting in our skidster with a ginormous bale of hay getting ready to put it. This is what I'm teaching my kids, and my wife is stepping up and helping out too equally. But I want my kids to know the sense of value and what a dollar is about. We have to take care of those animals. And what do those animals do is they put food on our table. When they put food on other people's table. And when my daughter first learned about, Dad, how come we sell all the cows all the time, and every year we get rid of all these cows? I said, well, honey, I think you're ready to understand that. I take them to the butcher, and they become steaks and burger that we eat. And she's like, okay. I took her, and the butcher was great and gave her a tour of how they cut meat and how they process it and things like that. And she got to learn, wow, this is what we do. And then so after that, I had her go help me deliver all the packages of meat to the people, and the people handed her the check. And she's like, oh, I got 500. No, that goes to food. That goes to the guys that cut our hay. That goes to the guys that bale our hay. That goes to the vet for all the vet checks that we have to do. I said, maybe at the end of that $500, you maybe have $50. She's like, well, that's not fun. I go, but that's learning a business. That's how you do. And then you save that, you save that, and you save that. So those are core values that we can teach our kids in different fashions. I mean, I grew up ranching, so that's my background. We need to learn how to teach people, kids, core values in life, and what way to do it at the youth level.
Yes.
That's where Komodo Pickleball also is going, is at the youth level with Little Dragons. Want to help kids young, so when they get older and they grow up, they learn core values of receiving, giving, things like that.
The way you describe is perfect. Like, that's why our podcast is named Vegas Pickleball and Life. Because if you take out the "and," it would just be Vegas Pickleball Life, which some people are truly addicts, where they sacrifice almost their own career and their almost family life towards this addiction. That's why we put the "and" in there, and it's using pickleball to incorporate with life.
Yeah.
And everything you said about your ranch, how you teach your kids, that's the life part of our podcast.
You guys are doing amazing things, and when you do amazing things in life, amazing things happen to you. Back to the karma jar. You give, you receive. It's the law of the nature. It's the law of the universe. And also what comes around goes around. So when you mess up, it's going to come around.
Come back to you.
Sometimes 2 or 3 times faster or harder.
Or meaner.
And it really stings. Don't try to live your life the best you can. And it's just like in business. I don't have any qualms about any other companies. I do have qualms about all the paddles that are coming flooding the market and how easy it is to become a paddle company. But all the big guys and all the stuff that they're doing, great. There's plenty of room for everybody. And as long as you have your own lane and your own value, stay in it and do it. Don't cross over into mine. Don't cross over into someone else's. Just run your path, and there'll be no problems.
Yes, absolutely. The way you describe how Komodo position itself in the market, I feel like is legitimate. Those paddle that's trying to flood the market, they're going to flush out. And when the market corrects itself.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen. It's already starting to happen a little bit. We're staking our foot in the mud right here. We're all passionate about what we're doing. And so with that passion comes along resilience. Resilience comes gratitude. And with gratitude comes fortitude. And everything just keeps coming back and just circling around.
Yes, it reinforced. Having you owning a paddle company and knowing the business side of pickleball, what do you see the overall industry, the business side of pickleball going towards?
I don't have an answer to that. To be honest with you, it's the wild, wild west. Who knows what you say? You know, I could walk out the door here and gunfight. I don't know the direction it's going. It's going up, but it's going to hit a peak. It's going to come down the other side. I don't think that's for a few years. We're still in a huge climb, and I'm just truly blessed that I jumped on the, let's call it the paddle. I put the paddle in my hand when I did, or I got on the wave when it was ready to break. I mean, I hit this perfectly. Like I said, it wasn't me who did it. Glad that I decided to do it. I've truly have learned in business and in life. I've always heard that growing up is always listen to your gut. And I didn't understand it. And I'm sure you can contest, but man, if I would have did 5 or 6 other things with my gut, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be on a beach somewhere with a cocktail with an umbrella, but everything happens for a purpose. I have learned to truly listen to your gut. Your heart and your mind will lead you wrong. They really will, because the Holy Spirit lives inside your belly. Our worship this morning and our pastor was talking about the try of the Lord and how it's God, Jesus, his Son, and the Holy Ghost, and they're all a God. That truly, I believe that our inner core is the Holy Spirit that lives in us, and when we get the chill,
It's speaking to you.
and it's the Holy Spirit. And I apply that. If I got a gut feeling, I do it. My wife will contest to it. She can't stand it. She goes, oh my God, here we go. Or my partner, same thing. Oh, Dave, stop. And I'm not. I'm going. I feel it, and I'm going to do it. And if I fail, bad on me. Bad on you. That's something that I truly believe in. And I try to talk to people and young entrepreneurs and kids and everything. Just listen to your gut. Gut will not let you down. It's the Holy Spirit in you, and I truly believe that. It's helped me out, and if I can be a pillar of person that has been there, done that, I just wish I did listen to that, and now I do. My mind will always talk me out of things, and your heart will always interfere in things, but your inner core won't let you down.
Like you said, things happen for a purpose. I also think maybe you're being tested. You're so close away from retirement. If you were to be sitting on the beach, I don't think you'd be doing a paddle company because you're being tested. You found pickleball. In the future, I really believe your company is going to change lives.
I really appreciate that. We're here to help out. We're here to do whatever we can to just give that little bit more. That means something to me. And if I can teach more people how to do that, our world's just going to get a better place. Like I said earlier, we need a little bit better just everywhere we go. And if we can add a little bit, so hopefully receive a little bit. My partner, today's his 24th wedding anniversary, and we're going to plan a trip for his 25th next year. And he's like, yeah, my wife, she's Catholic. She wants to go to Spain. We want to go do this river tour, and we're going to go do this. He goes, yeah, but what the world's going on. And he goes, I'm just really nervous about something happening to us and traveling. And I go, Dave, I would rather die with my best friend, his wife, and my wife on their 25th wedding anniversary than die at home in shelter with my gun.
At least you're living.
We all have to. We cannot let what's going on in the world stop us from living our life. All the stuff going on in our country, it is so terrible. But why should we stop living? What's ever going on in the world, why should we stop traveling? Why should we stop going and doing and seeing the things that we aspire for? Because of something going on somewhere else. I think that we should just all live life. Do it to the fullest. And because tomorrow could end. Then it would be looking back on, I should have did that.
It's just a life full of regrets.
I'm glad that our paths cross, and I think this is further our endeavors and our dreams and our goals.
A lot of exciting events coming up on Komodo.
Yeah. Thank you again. It's been truly a blessing to meet both you guys. I hope you guys keep on doing what you're doing and help spreading the word and help just doing God's work in different ways. So God bless you guys, and appreciate all you guys for watching and listening.
Big shout out to Vegas Indoor Pickleball for sponsoring this podcast. If you're looking for a top-notch indoor facility to play pickleball, head over to vegasindoorpickleball.com and book your court today. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. Leave us a comment with your thoughts below. Support us by clicking the like button and subscribing. Stay tuned for more insightful chats with amazing personalities as we explore pickleball and life.